I have a topic that I've been saving because I it's hard to talk about, but it's so helpful. And this is completely off of anything we've talked about, but it's something directly helpful to every one of you. This could be one of the most useful things you'll ever hear. It's not about politics, it's just a real world thing, okay? So there's your setup. So I've raised your expectations. And I'll give you a little background. One of the things I like to do with my Dilbert money, once I started making more money than I needed, I'm not huge on luxury. I don't like a lot of cars or houses or anything. So I would spend my money on getting massages, not the happy ending kind, just regular massages. And one of the things I've learned over the years, having done this now for years with different massage therapists, usually if I'm on vacation, etc., I'll do it, or maybe once a week here at home. And so I've experienced, I guess over the years, hundreds of different massage therapists. And here's what I've discovered. Some of them know how to touch and some don't. In fact, most of them don't know how to touch. They actually don't know how to touch somebody in the right way. And I'm going to teach you how. I'm going to teach you something that apparently the majority of massage therapists actually don't know, which surprises me. And here's the trick. And you can see even people petting a dog, you can tell if they know how to touch. So here are the two tricks to know how to touch. Number one, you must be in the moment. If you're scratching the back of your partner while reading a book, reading a book, what does it feel like to the person who's getting their back scratched? It feels no different than if they scratched their back on a pole. They do not feel your intention because your mind is somewhere else. You're reading a book and you're haphazardly scratching. They can feel it physically, but they cannot feel it emotionally. The good massage therapists are empaths, and they can feel what you can feel or imagine that they can. They're very sensitive to what you feel. And what they do is, here's the trick, they imagine they're you while they touch you. So while they're touching you, they're putting themselves mentally into your body, and they're saying, okay, if I were being touched there, how would I want to be touched? And so they imagine you, they stay in the moment, and they're thinking only about you and how it feels while they're touching you. Those people can send you to the moon. The difference between an empath who's been professionally trained giving you a massage is a 10 out of 10. The best massage therapist who's gone to all the school, has years of experience, but is not an empath, is a 6 out of 10. That's the best you can be unless you're putting yourself in the position of the other person and really, imagining it. That's only technique one. Technique number two, A/B testing and looking for feedback. As a trained hypnotist, one of the things you learn is you look for micro changes in a person to see if you're making them more relaxed, if they're getting into the hypnotic state. So you can do that just by paying attention over time. You can pay attention to people's breathing, their body language, their tension, etc. If you're touching somebody, let's say you're a massage therapist, and you touch them in a certain way, and their breathing changes, that's probably telling you it's either good or bad. Their body changes, they stiffen, they soften, they do something differently. They might even moan. You do more of that. So you A/B test until you figure out what works and what doesn't. Let me give you an example on my cat, who isn't here right now. So I've been experimenting on my cat, Boo, for years. So when I pet my cat, I will pet my cat in whatever normal ways she usually likes, but I'll often test a new thing. This week I discovered that my cat goes completely limp when I when I massage her chest, sort of her upper cat chest. Now she likes her stomach massage sometimes, like a dog does. She'll lay on her back and you can rub her stomach. But I noticed that when I pick her up, she usually doesn't want to stay picked up too long. She gets a little, anxious after, say, a minute. But if I pick her up and just rub her chest, she goes completely soft, like she's almost been euthanized. And I can hold her as long as I want, as long as I'm doing that. Now, my point is not that your cat would like that. And in fact, I've never met a cat who liked that I could determine. But this cat, through A/B testing, I discovered something that makes her absolutely limp with pleasure. Had I not tested for literally years, I never would have discovered it. Likewise, my dog Snickers has a place that she likes to be petted that you never would have guessed. It's between the eyes. I've tried it with other dogs and they don't seem to have the same experience. So if I pet my dog Snickers between the eyes, she just goes completely limp and will let you do it as long as you want. Now, people are just like that. If you have a partner, or even if you're a massage therapist, and you're trying to touch them in a way that you want them to enjoy, the first thing you do is put yourself into their body mentally, and you keep yourself in the moment. Never touch them haphazardly. Don't touch your partner while you're thinking of other stuff. They'll tell. They can tell the difference. And then secondly, test. Try a little scratch of the neck. Try a little massage of the shoulders. Do they like something on their feet? Who knows? But when you find that thing, it's going to be crazy. I'll tell you one little personal secret. You may notice that I'm due for a haircut. Christina, my girlfriend, volunteered, I don't know, months ago. She said, hey, I could cut your hair. Because, easy, obviously, is just and so I said, well, I would love that. It turns out that for me, the experience of having Christina cut my hair when she knows I actually like how it feels is better than a professional massage. Because I know she's in the moment. She's not thinking about anything else because she's concentrating on, the process, concentrating on me. And it just sends me into like a whole other universe, like you can't even imagine. Somebody says too much information. It's a haircut. That's not too much information, is it? So my point being, if you do these two things, put yourself in the other person's mind, do a little A/B testing and stay in the moment, you will send your partner to the moon. But you might have to do a little A/B testing to find out just what works best. Listen for breathing. Here's your tell. Well, I don't know if I could do a demonstration of this on video. The tell that a hypnotist looks for is a sudden breathing change. So if you were trying to, let's say, give a massage or something, and somebody went, ugh, that's sort of an obvious one. But you look for even more subtle ones. It might be without the noise. It might be just the breath. If you get that, see if you can produce it again. If you can produce it twice, you probably have something there. And that is my advice for the day. Somebody here is saying, I kick my wife, so anything else she loves it. You've lowered her expectations. Good job. It might take years to do that, but you want to lower expectations. All right, so that's a little, let me tell you this, you're not going to understand how good this advice was on touching until you try it. Because if you don't already know these things, or you haven't tried these things, the A/B testing, the empathy, putting yourself in the other person. If you haven't tried that, you have no idea what you're about to experience. You're about to change somebody's experience with you in a crazy way. You're going to like it. And that is all I have for today. Go have a great day.